Hey traders, John Fortune here with this week's weekly Forex forecast for the 30th of September to the 4th of October 2019. As always, we're going to start off by looking at the US dollar index and crude oil before running through a number of markets, looking at the key levels of support and resistance in the process. I'm also going to be highlighting some of the targets that we're going to be looking for in this coming week and also for the weeks ahead. So I hope you're having a fantastic weekend. Let's jump over to the charts and see where the money is this week. As always, we're going to start off by looking at the US dollar index. Now, in previous videos, we've been looking at the US dollar index really as being sideways. We've had a lot of corrective movement in the dollar index. We haven't had any clear direction. And this has led to some currencies in the past few weeks appreciating against the dollar, whilst at the same time other currencies have depreciated against the dollar. So for example, you may see US dollar yen to the upside. However, you may also see pound dollar to the upside. So in one of those currencies you're seeing US dollar strengthen, and in the other one you're seeing it weaken. And this tends to happen when you have a neutral dollar against strong and weak other currencies. Now, going into this week with the price action we had last week, we have started to see some strength coming into the dollar index as of last week. We actually did break and close above the key area of resistance we highlighted at 98.86, which was the start of 2017 bear market. This is actually a sign of strength, but we've come to the conclusion that although we're seeing signs of strength in the dollar index, it is not yet a strong currency. So we are once again, although we're now starting to see after a number of weeks of sideways movement, we're starting to see some strength coming into the dollar index. We're going to take a slightly bullish to neutral view of the dollar index, which means that we are going to still be trading the individual markets as it stands on their own merit without a strong bias in the dollar one way or the other. So next market we're going to look at is crude oil. Now, we've been correcting this big rally we saw, the spike to the upside on the attack of the Saudi Arabian oil fields. We've been correcting this over the last couple of weeks. We are still favouring long positions in crude oil. We are still looking for further advances to the upside, and we're viewing this as an opportunity to look for bullish formations and patterns for further advances to the upside. We're sitting now at a key area of broken resistance, turning support once already last week at 54.85. If we can get one more test next week, this is next week a great place to start to look for those bullish formations and patterns. And we are looking for those reversal patterns in this area. And if we get the right kind of price action in this area, we're going to be looking at initiating longs up towards the next key area of resistance to the upside and the target set at the 60.63. And if we can get a breakthrough here, we're going to be looking up towards the next key area of resistance to the upside and target 2 at the 62.92. So next what we're going to look at is euro dollar. Now, we start the week below a key area of broken support from the past, looking to turn resistance of the 1.09930. If we can get a pullback this week, and preferably if we can come back and retest broken support, turning resistance, this is going to be a fantastic place to start to look for those bearish formations and patterns. And we're going to be looking at initiating shorts down towards the next key area of support to the downside of the target set at the 1.0778. So next market we're going to look at is pound dollar. Now, we start the week below a key area of broken support from the past, looking to turn resistance to the 1.23930. If we can get a pullback, and as always, if we can come back and retest broken support, turning resistance, this is going to be a great place going into next week to start to look for those bearish formations and patterns. And we're going to be looking at initiating shorts down towards the next key area of support to the downside and the target set at the 1.2176. And if we can get a breakthrough here, we're going to be looking down towards the next key area of support to the downside and target 2 at the 1.2080. So next market we're going to look at is US dollar Japanese yen. Now, last week we highlighted the 107.240 as an area to start to look for those moves to the upside in US dollar yen. We did come down and bounce from this area, and we got these bullish reversal patterns, and we started to make our way towards the target set. For anybody not involved from last week, if we can get one more pullback and another retest of the 108.240, a key area of broken resistance from the past, turning support, this will once again be a great opportunity to start to look for those bullish formations and patterns. And we're going to be looking once again at initiating longs up towards the next key area of resistance to the upside and the target set at the 108.49. And if we can get a breakthrough here, we're going to be looking up towards the next key area of resistance to the upside and target 2 at the 108.99. So next market we're going to look at is Aussie dollar. Something to note for next week, we do have an interest rate decision out of Australia next Tuesday in the early hours of Tuesday morning UK time. This means that next week the Aussie dollar can really be dictated by the interest rate decision. Interest rate decisions are one of the biggest pieces of news data that we have coming out, and they can completely change the structure of markets. So if you're not sure how to trade interest rate decisions, the best thing to do is wait for the interest rate decision to actually come out and then look to trade that pair after the interest rate decision has taken place. But very simply put, going into next week in the Aussie dollar, we are stuck inside a range between the 0.6837 and the 0.67360. It's kind of neutral. So what we'd like to see, we're going to be looking for potential setups back up to the top of the range at the 0.67380. If we can come back and test the bottom of the range here at 0.67360, this is going to be a great place next week to start to look for those bullish formations and patterns. Preferably, again, if you're unsure of how to trade interest rate decisions, waiting until after the interest rate decision has happened. If we get that kind of price action next week, this is going to be an opportunity to start to look for those bullish formations and patterns. We're going to be looking back up to the top of the range and the next key area of resistance to the upside, the 0.6837. So the next market we're going to look at is New Zealand dollar. Now we're going to this week below a key area of broken support from the past, looking to turn resistance at the 0.6372. We're focused on selling opportunities next week in this market. If we can get a pullback, and last week we did have a bit of a correction, but if we can get a further pullback, this would be fantastic, as this would give us a better risk to reward down towards the target. Any pullback in this area is going to be viewed as an opportunity to start to look for those bearish formations and patterns, especially if we can come back and retest broken support as resistance. This would be the preferable place to start to look for those bullish formations and patterns. And we're going to be looking at initiating shorts down towards the next key area of support to the downside and the target set, 0.6238. And if we can get a breakthrough here, we're going to be looking down towards the next key area of support to the downside and the target to the 0.6130. So the next market we're going to look at is US dollar Swiss franc. Now the US dollar Swiss franc is starting to put in this head and shoulders pattern, a potential indication we could be looking for further declines, although it is not yet confirmed as a pattern. We are looking for further declines to the downside in this market next week. We're going to be focused on looking for bearish formations and patterns. If we can come back up and retest broken support, turning resistance at the 0.99680, this would be the best place to start to look for those bearish formations and patterns that give us the best risk to reward down towards this key area of support. And if we get the right kind of price action in this area, we're going to be looking at initiating shorts down towards the next key area of support to the downside and the target set at 0.9815. So the next market we're going to look at is US dollar CAD. Now over the past couple of weeks, we've been looking for this pullback towards a key area of broken support, looking to turn resistance to the 1.33190. We haven't quite taken it out. We have been moving sideways over the last couple of weeks in this pair. However, we are still focused on further declines to the downside. We're preferring to look here for bearish setups. For anybody not already involved in short positions in US dollar CAD, if we can get one more pullback and a retest of broken support, turning resistance at the 1.33190, this will be a fantastic place once again to start to look for those bearish formations and patterns. We're going to be looking at initiating shorts down towards the next key area of support to the downside of the target set at the 1.3110. And if we can get a breakthrough here, we're going to be looking down towards the next key area of support to the downside and target 2 at the 1.3038. And last but not least, we have gold. Now, last week we were looking further declines to the downside in gold, and we did end up getting this sell-off to the downside towards the target set from last week. We are looking further declines this week, so very simply put, any correction in this area, if we can get a pullback, we're going to be treating this as an opportunity to start to look for bearish setups. And if we can come back, and preferably if we can come back and retest broken support, turning resistance to the 1.525790, this is going to be a fantastic place going into next week to start to look once again for those bearish formations and patterns. And we're going to be looking at initiating shorts down towards the next key area of support to the downside and the target set at the 1453.00. So that is it from me for this week, guys. As always, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please let me know by liking, sharing and subscribing. A big thank you to everyone who does that on a regular basis, and a big thanks to everyone who has subscribed to the Top Forex Targets channel so far. I want to wish you all a fantastic weekend, and I want to wish you all the best next week. The only thing left for me to say, guys, is take care and don't forget to trade safely.